Lovers Quarrel. It's a long, sustained quarrel.
What's going on, world?
Hey, everybody.
It's your guy, TJ, Mr. New Cool.
And it's your girl, Dani, your stupendously sleepy salamander. I thought that one out.
Okay. True.
Do you like it?
Sure.
I don't know what sound a salamander makes. I was trying to think of an animal that makes a noise.
You should have Googled it.
I did Google. I Googled animals that start with the letter S. Because I came up with...
But once you found it, you should have, Googled the sound they make.
I don't think salamanders make noise.
Okay.
So...
What's going on, Dani?
Same shit, different day. It's just trying to get back into the swing of things. School has started back up. We are in the last semester of grad school.
Thank God.
I know. I won't get to complain about it after May 22nd.
You'll find something else to be busy with.
Yeah, maybe. I might be working this summer, so...
Which means you're going to be working this summer.
Why do you think I would... I have to interview.
People love you, so they're going to be like, oh, here you go.
You never know. I mean, I appreciate the vote of confidence, but...
Have you ever had a bad interview?
Probably.
And I don't mean when you was 6 years old or 7 years old.
I mean, for a job.
I don't think you've ever had a bad interview.
There's been interviews for jobs or positions that I did not get.
But that doesn't mean that you had a bad interview.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Maybe not. Well, even the one that came to mind, I interviewed for the position again and I got it. So
so
maybe
again, you'll be working this summer.
4 months later.
So you'll be busy this summer.
I'm trying to make some extra bread for the family.
Okay.
I'll be having if I get the job, because I'll claim it. I'll say I'm getting it, but just being cautiously optimistic. Then at least that means I have 2 checks coming in.
I'm thinking about panhandling.
You thinking about panhandling?
Yeah.
Mr. Bojangles.
Exactly. It's gonna be on the New York City trains.
Oh my God! You better
help a brother out.
You gotta figure out a skill. You better start break dancing or some shit. People like to be entertained. I never liked giving my money to people on the train if they weren't at least entertaining me.
Oh, I'm having a nice little sob story.
Not a sob story. I don't want you to guilt me. I want you to make me happy.
I have a nice little sob story.
Nobody's gonna be sorry for you.
Oh, they will.
Then what are you gonna say? You say your wife beat you?
Listen, I haven't thought that far yet.
Oh.
But this is just what I'm thinking. My benefits is through you, so we good there.
No.
You know what I mean? And then I can get all that money tax-free.
Oh, my God.
On New York City trains. Catch me Monday through Friday.
I hate you.
8 a.m. to 5:30.
My favorite subway story as far as giving money was when a guy came on the train with a shopping cart and he did a whole magic show out of the shopping cart. I was in 9th grade.
Wow.
Did you ever a memorable?
My memorable was, it was I want to say it was my 12th birthday, maybe my 13th birthday. We was going downtown, and this guy was walking all type of crazy.
Uh-huh.
Kind of he was not disfigured, but disabled.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so everyone gave him money, and then as he was waiting for the next train, you see him on the other side of the platform, walking regular. He was just walking regular, swinging his cane and shit that.
My God.
So we were yelling at him, and then he booked it. So
my mom had somebody like that. She and my mom was a lifelong subway rider, and she said somebody was crawling through the subway cars saying that they needed money for a wheelchair, and then when he got to the last car, he got up and walked off.
So yeah.
Oh, I miss New York sometimes. Oh, but anyway.
So let's get into the shits.
It's another episode of Lovers Quarrel.
Yeah.
It's just TJ and I.
Yeah, just Dani and I.
Let's hope that we keep you entertained. Are you not entertained?
Well, I keep people entertained.
Are you not entertained? You keep people enraged, infuriated.
I don't think so.
You're a contrarian. It's okay.
I'm definitely not.
You're not a contrarian.
No, I'm not. I'm a free thinker.
You're okay. You're an unpopular opinion.
No.
Shout out to Rock.
Nah, Rock is unpopular. He's a contrarian.
Rock, you and I need to talk too. We need to parlay on the side, because some of the shit that you posted the other day is Rock was on the whole phase, or the whole phase was on unpopular.
He was on the whole phase.
So he was on the whole phase. Sorry, and he had questions about he calling bullshit on women saying that weaves and stuff are like protective styles. Like, why? How is it a protective style? And the ladies on Whole Face, like they did a good job explaining it, but like, and I was looking at the clip at the time, so I didn't hear like the whole like before and after that clip.
No, I don't think you're talking about. It was on his show.
So okay, but
it wasn't the Whole Face.
They weren't the Whole Face.
No.
Okay, so my apologies.
I mean, shout out to the Whole Face.
But yes, shout out to the Whole Face too. I'm getting Rock, you're working, so I'm getting your guest appearances, your features, whoever else mixed up. But so shout out to you for that.
I think that was the Something Light podcast.
Okay.
But anyway.
But he said something about the protective styles and like it being bullshit and all stuff like that, and I'm like, Rock, oh my god, like you like. I literally walk around with my head in my hand when I listen to you sometimes because you make me shake my head all the time, and God love you, but that is not accurate at all.
You're not gonna come at my God like that.
I'm not coming at him. I have nothing but love for Rock, but he needs like a constant woman in his life to like correct his wrongs because he be wrong.
Maybe he just need better women, you know. Maybe there needs to be a better pool of women out there to correct it. Maybe just the women he's been interacting with has just been trash.
Well, then that maybe says more about him and his selection process than it says about the women in general.
Not necessarily.
Okay, well, we can debate that as well. I'm not trying to come for Rock.
Listen, you can speak to my man offline.
Bro, I'm coming to you as a sister. We'll chat offline. But shout out to you. And shout out to TJ. He's holding it down for the Trinity.
You're out of control. You're out of control. Shout out to my guys.
Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. I love you dearly.
She thinks she's funny.
I'm fucking hilarious.
You're not.
I am.
Not at all.
You want to get started?
I've been trying to get started, but you wanted to go off task. I don't do the elevator sound.
Oh, my gosh. What do you do?
I do everything else.
Yeah, but this don't work without me.
I mean, we can always find somebody else.
You gonna have somebody else play your wife?
Listen, maybe I get my girlfriend on there.
Your girl, don't nobody want you but me.
Yeah.
Cause you are sickening.
Whatever.
But anywho,
bring my bae on an episode.
Who's your bae?
I'm not. Listen.
I'd love to meet her.
Listen.
Tell her she need to chip in for some of these bills.
Listen.
The bitch is getting off scot free.
She said that she will once you allow her in the house. So you allow her in the house. You know what I mean? What's better than 2 incomes? 3. Can we get on this elevator?
Going down.
Yes. So, everybody's favorite rapper, Future.
Boo.
He just scored number 1, so that's up. But he was talking, and he said he spends roughly $200,000 monthly on clothes, like clothes and sneakers and shoes.
That's disgusting use of money.
Yeah. So that's why I'm going down, because there's gonna be some people out there who think that's like the coolest shit ever. Like, you know.
Hopefully there's nobody over the age of 25. But continue.
I mean, it probably is. I mean, that's a dream for some people. But it just made me say, like, you know what I could do with $200,000 right now? Pay off my student loans. Pay off some debt.
Pay off your car.
Could pay off my car. Shit, we could pay off the house for $200,000.
We could.
You know, so I think that with him being an influencer, it's cool to say, but it's wasteful. It's very wasteful.
He's spending money like a nigga. Like,
it's very wasteful, and it's just like, what are you teaching people?
I don't think he's trying to teach people anything. That's the thing. Like,
I don't think it's flaunting. I mean, some people.
It's so boastful.
Some people says that's a way to motivate people. I just think it's
I disagree.
You know,
it's like, excessive.
If you're never gonna rock it, because in the same interview he was like, you know, he tells people to come to his house and they can go shopping in his closet. So it's like, are you buying it just to buy it? Like, do you really need it? But I just don't want, like, I know I have a nephew who loves Future and loves trap music, love all this other shit, and I don't want him to think that that's successful. That's like spending $200,000 a month. It's not cool. So
I agree. I feel like the whole time you were talking that, you know, the scene I kept playing in my head. Mm-hmm. You ever see the movie with Bow Wow called The Lottery? Mm-hmm. And Brandon, what's his name? Brandon T. Jackson. And he was like, I'm broke. He's like, I can't eat. Just It's like I keep hearing that in my head.
Okay.
Because niggas is out here struggling. Like, you got people, you get on the radio or whatever interview, and I don't know exactly when he said this, but...
No, it was like a video, so...
So it was recent, though.
Yeah, I think it was like... It was on, like, Complex, so they do this joint where they go, like, sneaker shopping. Yeah. They do it with all the people, but...
Was it since, like, December to now?
It was like, recently. It was, like...
So my thing is, like, you're saying... And this, I mean, this just goes out to show, like, how, like, detached from reality you are, but, like, I just feel like that's so... Not, I'm gonna say ignorant to say, but it's just, like... There were 800,000 people that are furloughed that were getting evicted. There's people that listen to your music and stuff, and like
you could have used that money to help them.
Exactly, right. You could have given $1,000 to X number of people that were furloughed or whatever. You could make that happen because you're future, but you want to talk about how much money you spend on clothes and hate on.
Well, I also think you got
your ex's husband being a better father than you are.
I'm not getting to nobody else's business. You can. I'm not doing that.
He's hating. And I agree with
hurt people.
He is hurt, and I agree though. But he's not even that. Like, Sierra was the one that got away. So somebody said this. It's not even like Sierra was the one that got away, and he's pining after her and love her. He's just mad because she is not beholden to him. She is not like all his other baby mothers. Kind of have to like their baby together could be is their bag. Like that's their claim to access or whatever. Sierra don't need Future for not a motherfucking thing, and she is married with a husband and another baby and living happily, and he is unhappy to see her happy. So you're right, hurt people.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it for the negative. When we go up,
going up.
So I just wanted to give a shout out to our people, our family at Sophisticated Ignorance.
Hi guys.
They reached 100 episodes.
Goals.
So
hi Naima. Hi Steven.
Very excited with our Vixen. See, you're just gonna forget the cameraman over there.
I apologize.
Disrespectful.
I'm not disrespectful. I'm forgetful. It's different.
And Bianca.
Okay. Hey Bianca.
So if I forgot anybody, I apologize. But just want to give a shout out. You know, it costs nothing to show love, and
they showed us love. They always show us.
So we gotta
Steven and you always go back and forth.
That's because Steven, listen.
Y'all love you.
Listen, Steven has the best comebacks for everything.
He does.
For everything.
Steven, keep it up, because I like that you keep TJ on his toes.
For everything. I've never stumped him once.
And I appreciate that. You need that in your life.
I'm going to have to just go far left one day and just... I'm going to have to, like, drop a statement and disappear.
And ghost him.
So, just wanted to shout out to the podcasters out there. So, shout out to him and her and them and the whole team. Thank you for allowing us to come on the episode and, politicking with us. And, it's just great to see. I think we were episode 69.
We were.
And for them to continue... I think it's powerful. It's inspirational to me.
To me too, because I know
you want to shoot towards that. So, I said you want to shoot towards that.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
You want to shoot towards being able to have like 100 episodes of content. Like,
yes,
it's not easy to do.
That's the level. Especially that's when people like go back and be like, "Oh, I listened to you guys from the beginning," and you could sit somebody and just like run through all the episodes. So. Shout out to y'all. Congrats to y'all. Thank y'all for letting us be a part of the movement and the experience.
So, what is your elevator? Are you up or are you down?
Going down.
Oh, so you should have stayed down before you went up.
Well, this was still all your elevator. You said you were all over the place.
Be great.
So, unless you believe it under a rock, the story about Jussie Smollett came out recently, and he's the actor from Empire. He plays Jamal Lyon, and he is openly gay. His character is openly gay on the show. And in Chicago the other day, he was accosted by two masked, or they had covered their faces, assaulted, and allegedly like called homophobic and racist slurs, and then also possibly said that this stuff was said that it was like it's MAGA country or something along those lines. And my reason why this is like down is just twofold, because if you look at just the concept, not the concept, if you look at just the attack itself and the basis of which the attack was made, like basically why he was attacked and targeted, like it's exhausting. It's exhausting being Black in America. I can only imagine what it is to be. I know what it is to be Black and a woman in America. How exhausting that is, how doubly exhausting that is. And then now to be also to be Black and gay or Black and queer, however you want to call it, in America, and to have people attack you for who you are, for things that you cannot change about yourself, and for people out there to feel emboldened by the fuck boy that's in the White House is sickening and maddening. And it's just like, I get frustrated just because there's so much that I feel and there's so much that I think about these things, and then at the same time there's times where I feel like I have to cut myself off from it because I can't like process this hate all the time and then still have to like conduct my daily life or be an effective and functioning person in my day-to-day life in society. So there's that part of it, and then the other part that kind of has me a little frustrated, and I am not gullible. I am not one for like poo-pooing skepticism or thinking that there's nothing wrong, thinking that there's something wrong with wanting to, in some cases wanting to get all the information before you make a brash decision. But I kind of find it kind of ill how like people are so quick to want to be like, is this a hoax? Is this an other? Whatever. Because of just like random accounts or like, oh, you can't, Chicago was one of the most heavily surveilled cities in America, and yet they couldn't find it. But then they did find some persons of interest in the very least. And I'm not saying, and I want to say this, like, I'm not saying don't don't be unwilling to receive all the information if we don't know everything that happened, if we only have just what we've seen, the reports, and then his account of everything. But I feel like people are trying to go out of their way to start to like deny and think that like it's a hoax, as opposed to just saying like, okay, this is the information we have, I have no reason to believe otherwise, so I'm going to believe or support this person. And then if it comes out that something was inaccurate, let's say hypothetically, or that, you know, in the most extreme cases is that this was a whole farce or a hoax or something like that, then you can address it. But people love going out of their way to be like, I don't believe it, I don't need proof. Like, it could be, the shit has to be like smacking you in the face. And
we know that something happened.
We do know that something happened, but people
don't know all the details. And I think,
but people like immediately jump to like, it's a hoax, and I'm like, that's not okay. That's not okay. He definitely was attacked. We know that. Like, so stop saying that, like, stop trying to dismiss everything altogether. And that just part is the other part that bothers me about that, because when we ask why people don't come forward when they're attacked or when they're raped or when they're assaulted or anything of the sort, because out of fear of not being believed, because whether or not me, you, or anybody in the world wants to believe it, but like, there's a lot of wild and unbelievable shit that does happen on a daily basis that we couldn't fathom in our wildest dreams, but they happen. And it doesn't mean that the person that tells you that they happen is making shit up. Unfortunately, people making shit up is a fact of life, but there's a lot of people who are out there who have crazy experiences that have traumatized them or that continue to traumatize them, that they're scared to share because they don't think people are going to believe them. Because of shit like this, where people just jump out the window and try to like disprove or disbelieve stuff. So that's how I feel about that. And with that being said, do you have anything you'd like to add? Thoughts, heartaches, anything of the sort?
On that situation, or just
sure, that or anything in general before I move to the tip of the week?
I just want to see what happens with it. I think it's unfortunate. And like I said, that's my biggest fear is having sons, just because being black in America is like, I know people say being a black woman is the worst, but I feel like being a black male is like the worst thing.
I would have to disagree with you there.
I mean, you're a black woman. You're blackish.
I'm a black woman. Don't do that.
You're blackish.
Don't do that.
But
and we had.
I'm just saying. Listen,
we're gonna have a bunch of quarrels on the show.
I'm going by my experience,
and that is your experience.
You can go by your experience.
Yeah.
I just know that being black, when I was in school, I got blamed for stuff, and
Absolutely.
TJ shouldn't have defended himself because he's bigger than the other kids. Mm-hmm. So the other kids, because they're little, they can hit TJ, and TJ's supposed to just take it because he's bigger. No.
I understand that. What I'll say is this: I can respect.
I get pulled over.
I can respect your assertion as long and because you didn't tell me that my belief was wrong. Does that make sense? Like, you can believe that you can believe or feel like the black man is like the most targeted person, or on the totem pole, and I can believe that the black woman is the most targeted one, but you're not telling me that I'm wrong. That's what you know what I mean?
No, listen.
I'm saying that's why I say I can respect that, because
a black woman experience. I don't know. I don't know a black woman's experience.
Yeah.
So I can't say if it's right, if it's wrong. I can't say if it's harder. I'm saying just from what I've experienced.
Okay, and you know what? I can respect that because
I've got pulled over because I fit the description.
Yes, I know.
I that's happened to me in front of my house.
I remember.
And I've been looked at funny. I've had racial experiences multiple times, and sometimes you can't react the way that you want to react, because if you react that way, then it's like, oh, he's guilty, or see. So that's the hard thing.
It is a hard thing. I'm not taking that away from you, and that's why I said I can respect your position in the sense that because you're saying that's how you feel, but you're also not saying that because that's how you feel, that's the prevailing like argument. Like, how I feel is the way it is, and how you feel is wrong, or how you feel is incorrect. So we can agree to disagree on that one. With that being said, though, we're gonna go and get into our tip of the week for relationships. Do you have one, or would you like me to go first?
You go first. Go ahead.
So
trash.
Go
ahead.
Shut up. Anyway, trifling. So my relationship tip of the week is a simple word that we all know very well because of Lauryn Hill, and that word is reciprocity.
He used it in a sentence.
So if I scratch your back, you'd be showing me reciprocity by scratching mine. You give what you do. Basically, it's kind of like the golden rule. Like, you do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Okay. Because ultimately that's the crux of so many relationships. And let me start with this. So by your definition, you will win this week, and you want to know why?
Because it's based off of me.
Because it's based off of you. Because it's based off of the conversation we had last night. Do you remember what we talked about last night?
I don't.
So
just tell me about
last night, TJ and I were in the room, and so TJ and Tatum were in the room. That's what it was. And I was coming up the stairs, and TJ was telling Tatum to say Danny. And so she was trying to like say my name. And so I came in the room, and I said that I said, now, why would you do that if when I was jokingly having Tatum call you, when I was jokingly have Tatum call you TJ, you got upset because you don't want her to even think to call you TJ. You want her to always call you daddy. So I said, if that's how you feel, if you feel so strongly about that, why would you feel like it's okay
because you don't mind?
But that's not reciprocity.
I don't like that.
But that's my tip of the week, though, because it's like you have to.
No.
Like, if I don't like,
just because, all right.
If I don't like something,
just because
why would I go out? Why would I think to do it to the next person?
I don't like onions and green peppers on everything, but you might. So I'm supposed to be like, well, I don't like it. So Danny doesn't like it.
You'd ask first. You did not ask.
Okay.
I didn't know to ask with Tatum the first time.
All right, so I was exactly.
And so
reciprocity. I was following exactly what you did.
Oh, so now you're a follower.
Yep. Why not? I was following exactly what you did.
You're full of shit.
And then the difference was
Full of
you,
shit.
you didn't care.
But it doesn't
You
matter.
just wanted to be able to go tit for tat.
No, I just wanted to highlight to
That's
you.
why you brought it up. You was like,
I wanted to
it doesn't bother me, but
I wanted to highlight to you
so if it doesn't bother you,
the
why bring
hypocrite
it up?
that you are.
I'm not a hypocrite.
that it is hypocritical.
It's not.
It is hypocritical.
Just because I don't want something doesn't mean that
So
you don't want
if
it.
you don't like, what's a peeve of yours? Just give me a pet peeve. And with people,
Danny.
shut the hell up. With people in general.
A pet peeve.
Okay.
Liars.
That's so broad. Okay.
Okay.
You hate when people crunch the chips, right? Crunch their chips really hard, right?
When you crunch your chips.
Oh, so it's just about me. Okay, can you have anything of a person in general that's
Just give me another example. I don't know, Danny. God damn
Okay.
it.
The point I'm trying to make is this, is that in a relationship, if you, especially if that part hasn't been communicated, if there's something that you don't like, okay, and then keep in mind that, like, if you don't like that, then don't go around doing that same thing to the next person.
You may not mind.
And
you don't mind. You're just bringing it up just to bring it up.
I'm not bringing it up to just bring it up. It's about mutual. So and maybe reciprocity in this scenario aren't exactly aligned, because reciprocity has to do with like being mutual benefit, or like, again, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. So this is more about, like, I guess, like the golden rule. Okay, so my tip though is maybe twofold. Definitely should demonstrate reciprocity in a relationship, but then also follow the golden rule. Like, unless otherwise explicitly said, if you have a peeve, if you have something that you do like or you don't like, and you've communicated that to your partner, and that person doesn't do it to you anymore, I feel like it should not be the first thing that comes to mind that you can do it back to them. Does that make sense?
Sure, why not?
Whatever. Point is, make sure in a relationship that when you make very clear your peeves or your preferences, make sure you extend that same courtesy to your partner, unless otherwise stated.
Okay.
Your turn.
TJ's turn.
Are you not going to say anything because I already told you that you could have this week?
I should, take the easy victory. Up by 20.
Lies.
But, the competitive side of me says let's go by 40, So I'm going to say I read something and it kind of pertained to Dani and TJ. So this may not work for everybody, but
I'm listening.
it might. So it said date like you did in high school. With us being in high school, like meeting each other in high school, it was the time that Dani really loved TJ.
I really loved you.
Oh yeah, like you really loved me.
I don't love you now though.
You like me a lot. I don't know if you like. It was a time that you like loved me, and now it's like I have him. I'm good.
Enlighten our listeners and me.
Young Dani. Let me tell you. I still remember Valentine's Day.
Oh my gosh.
Great. You know what I mean? Dani threw on his outfit. She had her perfume popping. Young 17-year-old Dani seducing TJ. Now, Dani throwing this little house number, this little llama pajamas,
I'm comfortable.
She's throwing her bonnet. You know what I mean?
It's all about protective styles.
So, my tip is just remember, this can go for everybody. It doesn't have to be high school, but remember what you used to do that got your partner excited, and go back to that. Sometimes you gotta tap back to who you were.
Okay.
So
I should start, tapping back to when I was 17.
I'm not saying that all the way, but there was a different mindset. There was a different ideology there. Okay. I'm just saying for our listeners, when you're married and you have kids and you have a career and you're in school, and it's easy to forget the simple things. It's easy to forget the things that made a relationship go, or it's easy and it's harder because you have other responsibilities. But it's okay to sometimes tap back to who you were, you know. So
Okay.
up by 40.
Lies.
Oh, listen, I just hit lay up.
I disagree.
You disagree on which part?
I disagree that you are anywhere near beating me in the relationship tip department.
100%.
No.
Yeah, I won this week.
Because I gave it to you.
Okay, so I won. I don't care how I got it.
Like, this week was like a Make-A-Wish week. Like,
you okay?
You just, I'm giving it to you, which is fine.
Whatever.
For the child in need.
So before we go to our sponsors, I've decided that I wanted to add a new segment.
All right.
So, as you all know, my wife is very smart.
Aw, baby.
And,
So
you
sweet.
know, she uses all these big words and all this other stuff. So, I've decided that I wanted to add a word of the week. So that way, you know, I could just learn, have some, you know, some big words in my vocabulary, you know. I want to throw it in my repertoire. And, you know.
I'm excited about this. I hope I learned something new.
So the word of the week is going to be portent.
I'm unfamiliar with the term. Enlighten
which is,
me.
Spelled Portent.
Portent.
And it is a sign or warning that something, especially something, I can't even pronounce this word. Momentous?
Let me see it.
Momentous?
Momentous.
Momentous, okay.
Oh my god.
Or these should have been the fucking words. Calamitous. Calamitous.
Calamitous?
Calamitous. It's likely to happen. They believe that wild birds in the house were portents of death. So, with that, I got a nice little laugh out of it.
So,
I learned 3 new words.
So, like a portent is kind of like an omen, like a bad sign.
Yes.
Okay, I get it.
Sign, indication, so warning, forewarning. So,
And now you know momentous.
yeah, we're gonna look up this other word.
Calamitous. So calamitous is like a calamity, like a mess or a bad event happening or something that's like causes like an
You're right.
explosion or something like that.
Catastrophic or disastrous. Disastrous. You just love this. See, and this is why I'm doing it, guys.
It's cute. It's
and
cute.
Gals, I want to make sure that I can get, you know, I want to get on her level. See,
I appreciate it.
whatever.
I
She
do.
rocks. And now we're gonna take a message from our sponsors.
I hope it's not important.
She's an asshole.
Hey friend, it's time for you to ditch those workout gloves and get the grip and wrist support you deserve. What do you suggest? You need to get the Gainz Load and Lock grips by Gainz Sports Gear. They are more durable than gloves, have a non-slip grip pad that provides grip support and added wrist support unlike your traditional workout gloves, and will protect your hands from calluses. Do they come in different colors? Not only do they come in different colors, but they are available for men and women. Do yourself a favor, go to GainzSportsGear.com. And remember, a better grip equals a better lift. Embrace the process.
And you too can embrace the process by using our code LOVERS10 at Gainz, Gainz, sportsgear.com for all your fitness needs. And now, back to the show. And now we're back.
And so we, or TJ and I should say, we decided to not do a letter this week because I feel like there were, based on our conversations before when we were planning the show, several things that we wanted to quarrel about. So he and I agreed that we were going to clear some space in the episode for us to kind of go at it sufficiently. Are you ready, babe?
I'm ready.
All right. So
What's the first name we're going to...
quarrel about?
So let's quarrel about what's the name first.
What?
Fuck. Not the school situation. All right. So. Lifestyle guru B. Smith. This is what Roland Martin put. Has Alzheimer's,
Yeah.
Her husband Dan has a girlfriend, and her fans aren't having it. Mm-hmm. So I never knew who B. Smith was, but she's like this.
She was like a major like restaurateur.
Yeah, and now she has Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. She doesn't really know her husband, and he got depressed, and he wound up getting a girlfriend, and I just wanted to kind of talk about it. I feel like.
So what do you think about that? Like, do you feel like that's just like appropriate to do? Like, you're still married.
I don't think it's appropriate to.
Your partner is sick.
I don't think it's appropriate to do, but it does leave the question: did they talk about that? You know what I mean? Like, did they as a couple have the conversation that if one of us gets sick, I don't want you to be unhappy, so live your best life?
I don't know. I don't know if they had that. I just think that it's like in really poor fucking taste. Like, you are, and I'm not saying, I know that to be the spouse or partner of someone who is dying is super difficult. It can be super depressing, and you feel lonely, but going out and getting a whole other girlfriend and moving the bitch in, and like, it's not like your wife has cancer or has like some type of like autoimmune disease that's gonna ultimately, be her demise. She has Alzheimer's, which is steeped in her not remembering. She don't know who the fuck you are. She don't know what the fuck is going on. And like, part of me can't help but wonder, are you capitalizing on the fact that she don't remember that you my husband and that this is supposed to be me and you? And like, that's why you brought this bitch in? And now, and my other point, and I haven't done all the research on it, but the woman used to fuck with another like black famous restaurant person in like I don't know if he was like nationally known or whatever, but it begs the question, like, maybe is she a woman who tries to align herself with people who are like affluent? And like, what kind of better setup is that? Like, I got my man and he got access. And the thing too is like, he has all this access to all things that B. Smith built and did because she can't control or take care of her businesses or her funds or stuff like that. So now, not only do I have Alzheimer's, but you're in charge of my money and you are going to dinner and a movie with a new girl, another woman. I can't.
So while I think it's unfortunate, I think it had to happen.
Why?
For people to be able to kind of talk about these. We don't a lot of these things we don't talk about
because they're surrounded about death. Yeah.
A lot of these things we don't talk about until and then when it's too late, you don't know what your partner wants or what your partner would be okay with, or whatever the case may be. Well,
let the record show on this episode of Lovers Quarrel that if God forbid I develop some type of degenerative words. That's what I get for making fun of you earlier. Degenerative diseases. Mm-hmm. Where I cannot think like I do now, and I know that it would be hard for you. You are not permitted until I am dead.
So you gotta die
and dead for like at least a year.
At least a year.
It's before you can move on to somebody else. You need to mourn. If you're getting lonely, go to a support group. Maybe you'll meet her there, but you cannot just move the next bitch in. You can't. I'd wait a year.
You'd wait a year?
I'd wait at minimum a year.
Okay, so you gave me a year. I'm gonna put never.
Never?
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen?
You know what?
So you're already planning that when I die, you're gonna have moved the next nigga in.
I'm not gonna move the next nigga in.
That's what you just said.
You know what? I'll say never if I'm like 86.
So it's an age limit thing.
If I turn 80, if you die and I'm 80, then I won't find it. I won't go looking for nobody else.
That's selfish.
It's not selfish. Okay. I'm not telling. It's selfish for you to tell me that I can't.
Respect my wishes.
No, you can't tell me that I can't move on and find somebody else. I'm telling you can, but I'm telling you to give yourself a year.
I'll need a year
to be in proper mourning.
I'm never gonna find nobody else.
Oh, you trying to be cute?
I'm being honest.
Wait, are you saying it because like there's no one that could replace me, or that you just feel like you can't find anybody else?
What?
Are you just saying it like?
I'm saying it like I'm not going to be able to replace you.
Oh, I thought you'd be like, damn, I ain't gonna be able to get nobody. I'm not getting back. I'm not good at bagging people.
Listen, I already got a girlfriend.
Oh yeah, the side bitch that we talked about. Them.
She's not a side bitch. You know how to respect her. Okay.
Listen, whatever. Point is, I'm telling you right now, you cannot be stepping out on me until I am.
So you got to be dead in a year. So my thing is, I got to be dead. Nah, even when I'm dead.
I can't
if we
move
died,
on.
Yeah, if you become a widow, you just...
I gotta stay a widow.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't remarry.
Otherwise, I'm coming every night. I'm knocking on that door.
Oh my God.
Open up windows.
I can't remarry.
I'm gonna blow on you.
But wait.
Right in your eye.
You can remarry.
I want to remarry.
You don't want to remarry?
Nah.
You would not want to get remarried after me if I died? Why?
It's gonna be slinging it.
Oh, so you just want to be tied down again?
You slinging that thing out there.
And that's what I'm saying. No, you're not even going to be mourning me. You're not even going to be sad.
I am.
You're just going to be like, oh, I'm free.
Nah, I'm just saying. I won't ever get married again. Like, I ain't gonna ever
Would you be in a
else.
long-term relationship?
Nah.
You would never get remarried.
Nah, I'm just let that,
is marriage that bad?
I'm gonna let that thing just...
Or marriage to me?
Nah, because if you died while we married, I'm kind of, you know what I mean?
You're a widower.
Yeah, I'm gonna let your spot stay where it's at.
Oh, so you, like, no one else could be your wife again.
Yeah.
But you also would want to just sling dick. And that's...
I mean, listen.
I'm done with you. I would...
I don't know, honestly.
Hope.
I think it's something that we would need to talk about more, but it's something that, seeing it, it's like, damn, what do you do?
Could I...
Now, he was bold.
If you had Alzheimer's, could I have a boyfriend? While you still walking around here? He like, hi, I'm Tom.
Nah, because I don't want him beating me up. I don't want him, like, hitting me. When y'all get into arguments, he come
It's not even funny. Alzheimer's is not funny.
Come downstairs smacking me. I don't need that. I don't need him taking out his anger.
Abusive.
Exactly. I don't need that.
Oh, my God.
So, that's my issue with it. Like, with the Alzheimer's, yes, if she don't know who you are anymore, it's kind of like it's not there. But I do think it's disrespectful that he's like bringing this woman in her house, and you know she's taking care of this woman, and it's just like, would B. Smith have wanted this? You know what I mean?
And I don't want to. I must address the elephant in the room too.
Go ahead.
She's white.
You're racist. I'm
not racist. I just think that part, it just doesn't sit right with me. Something's just don't smell right about it. The whole situation. And as insult to injury, she's a white woman that you're bringing into your house with your black wife.
So it should have been a black woman.
No, it should have been any woman, but it's just especially suspect because she's a white lady. And maybe that makes me a bad person, but it's just not quite right. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark, and it is what it is. But now we're going to move on to the next quarrel. You ready?
But we never finished that, so...
Oh, I apologize.
So your thing is...
Run it back.
So your thing is, I can't have...
Okay, here's the headline.
Mm-hmm.
A. If I am sick
mm-hmm.
in any way, shape, or form, especially if I don't have all my mental faculties while I am sick, and I'm dying, we know I'm going to die from the disease, you are not permitted to have a girlfriend at any point in time during that time.
At all.
At all.
At all.
And you are not permitted to bring the bitch into our house for her to live.
What if I don't bring her in the house, but I just have her on the side?
No.
Listen.
No.
Listen, my wife is crazy. Listen,
no.
She don't even know who I am.
No.
I can't.
No.
That's crazy.
And then upon my dying, you need to wait a year.
I just feel like you're being selfish. So if that's
I'm not
the
being
case,
so. You told me never. Yeah,
exactly. So
I could never date or remarry.
So you give me a year. I'm giving you. I need.
But I'm selfish.
25.
I'm selfish.
You gotta do a whole sentence. For every year we've been together, plus married.
So that's 15 years.
No.
If you're talking about right now, we've been together 15 years.
As of right now, we've been together for 14 years.
Going on 15.
Okay, and then you got to add 5 years for marriage.
Oh, so 20 years.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's not gonna happen.
So it keeps on going up.
Well, who gonna stop me, huh?
Okay, so then what's the difference? So So who's gonna stop you? So why do I have to go with this fictitious 1 year?
Because it's a year versus 20. You are being unrealistic, and
I'm not.
It's a knee-jerk response to my 1 year. You need to give yourself time.
I don't.
And you got to think about Tatum, because she ain't gonna want nobody in here. Like, you not my mommy.
Well, his daughter is okay with it.
His daughter, well, she's an idiot too. So
She's an idiot too.
That's fine. I wouldn't rush to bring nobody around Tatum.
I'm not saying that you got to bring them around, but I'm just saying
she's gonna be like,
people have needs.
Tatum is still your daughter. She gonna be like, you're not my dad.
People have needs, so I think sometimes you know.
Oh, so you're just worried about your needs being met for a year?
I mean,
but I can't have my needs met for 25 years.
I just wanted to sound as outrageous as you do.
1 year to 20 is not outrageous.
It shouldn't even be a year.
It should. Okay.
You can't tell me how my heart's gonna heal. You can't tell me I can't do something because you want me to wait a year.
That's fine. I won't have to. Your daughter will.
Okay.
She's gonna nix that shit. Wait till she's old enough to understand. I'm gonna be like, "Mommy said," and then it's gonna be a what's the movie that you like, with the badass kid?
Problem child?
Yes. Tatum's going to
be old by then.
Tatum's going to be a problem child for you, whoever you try to bring around. So she's going to have a calendar. It's going to have 365 days.
My biggest thing about this is he should never put this thing out there.
I don't know why he did.
I mean, he probably wanted to be able to go out with his girlfriend.
Like,
probably selfish needs. Like,
people are walking around. They were like, "Aren't you?"
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't you?
I do think that this again puts on a great light that people need to have these. We need to start having these tough conversations when it comes to death and moving on and what you want, what you don't want, and really sit down and think about it, because we don't think about it, and then when it happens, we're like
twiddling our thumbs.
Yeah. So
I'm with it. I understand. So you ready for the next one now?
Yes. Now we can move on.
All right. So another topic of conversation. So Killer Mike, who has a show on Netflix called Trigger Warning, was on the Breakfast Club.
Yes.
And he and Envy had and I won't say it was an argument. It was definitely like a debate. It was a strong debate about.
They had a quarrel.
They did have a quarrel about a lot of things, but the big part of the debate that came up, and really I didn't even know it had happened until my number, CJ, he tagged me and my other line sisters who are educators in a post, and I was like, I was wondering like, what's the random shout out for? And then I went back in his story, and he was like, how he agreed with Killer Mike over Envy and so on, because he was kind of like, they were bash. Envy was bashing public school teachers. So I went to the interview, and Killer Mike is on there, and he's talking about, and they get to the conversation like public versus private school. And basically, in a nutshell, Killer Mike was like, the working class black person like can't afford private school, and so we need to kind of make sure we're doing what we need to do in order to make sure that the public schools that our kids go to are up to snuff and whatever, and do whatever's in our power, because we pay taxes for it anyway. And Envy was kind of like, my parents, the school I was supposed to go to wasn't a good school. They sent me to private school, and my kids go to private school, and they get afforded opportunities and this, that, and the other. And kind of making the argument for why private schools and public school teachers aren't paid enough, and they don't have enough materials and resources, so they sometimes just don't care. And because they don't care, like they aren't like as effective teachers. And he did emphasize that he said some, but it was still kind of like a shot, and like Killer Mike had to be like, but he was like, my nigga, he was like, you're rich. He was like, you can do that. He was like, most people aren't rich. And so bringing that to the forefront, I figured TJ and I, and we've had like, this is another conversation that should definitely happen, especially when you have kids, is approach the topic about like schooling in general and like public versus private school, because I do have mixed feelings, because I am a product of a public and a private school education, but I teach in public school. Well, Catholic school is considered a type of private school. Oh. So
I'm public.
You are public all the way through. Although I feel like your other school was like a public charter.
Ooh.
Manhattan School for Children.
It wasn't a charter.
Did it start with a PS?
Yes.
Or what was it? PS what?
333, I think it was.
You're so full of shit.
I'm being so serious.
PS 333.
I'm pretty sure that's what.
What was his address? 123 Sesame Street.
Yeah, you're not gonna disrespect me, yeah.
So let's talk about TJ's school growing up. Go ahead.
What about it?
It was very frou-frou.
It really wasn't. It was a great school.
Y'all call your teachers.
First off,
y'all call your teachers
they
by their
have
first name.
MSC now has a greenhouse.
That's not the first school in the city to have a greenhouse.
Well, we didn't have a fucking greenhouse.
Okay.
They have a whole bunch of like.
We had a courtyard we had a greenhouse at FDA.
Okay. A high school versus a middle school, elementary school.
It's still a public school in the city.
Anyway.
And so TJ, I think we should start with our educational backgrounds. I think that would give us like a little like kind of setting the tone for the conversation, right? So
yes, PS 333.
PS 333.
Yes, see, you're an asshole.
So I clown TJ school, but it's all in jest because it's just that like they call their teachers by their first names. They didn't get like A's and B's on their report cards. They got
numbers.
They got like smiley faces.
We did not get smiley
y'all
faces.
Were ahead of the curve because y'all had emojis before.
You just firing it up tonight. You just on one. We had numbers, yes. Okay. We should have did GPAs, but fuck it, we didn't. We had 1 through 5.
TJ learned how to play chess very well there, and
my
he did not learn cursive.
Has a 4 out of 5. We actually did learn cursive, but then they stopped doing it. So it was, who the fuck use cursive now? But anyway,
so that was his.
So
and then he went to
let's talk to the argument.
And then he went to A. Philip Randolph or high school, a public high school. I went to Catholic school from kindergarten to 6th grade.
Whatever.
And then I went to Frederick Douglass, which
I also got accepted to.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you didn't go.
But I got accepted to it. I chose not to go. But go ahead.
That's fine.
Also got into Rice, which is a private school, but
that's closed now.
Yeah, it's not.
Because you tried to clown Sly out there.
I did.
Shout out to Sly. So
Sly.
Anyway. And I went to FDA, which was this college preparatory high school, but it was a public high school it had like crazy opportunities and classes
back
and stuff
then,
like that.
Years ago.
Right now, it's actually being labeled as identified as to being like a turnaround school. So
okay, that's good because it was some shit.
It was some shit.
Yeah, it was some shit.
How's Randolph doing?
Oh, we're top. Don't do that.
And what?
And everything, top notch.
And what?
Don't disrespect us, yo.
Movies to be featured in films. That's TJ's first thing he told me. He was like, my school was in juice.
Anyway.
So, I guess the conversation is like public versus private school, right? So where do you stand on this?
Public.
Babe? All the way through.
All the way through. Fuck private.
Why?
Because I feel like...
Be honest.
What?
Okay.
I'm always honest. Don't do that.
Okay.
I just feel like if my child gets a scholarship to go to a private school, then cool. But I'm not paying for my child to go to a private school just to say that my child goes to a private school.
Okay, so then my point, and so I have a question for that, and then I'll give my spiel. So Tatum will be school age before we know it, because she's about to be 2. By 4, she can go to school.
Okay.
What if we go visit the school that's our zone school down here in Maryland, and we're just like, not for it. And quite honestly, let's be very fair. You take issue with way more things about stuff that pertains to Tatum, like environments she's going to be in, than I do. And you do not like the school. And then we even try to find her a different school in the relative area, even though you have to pretty much stay with your zone school. And you don't like any of those. So then what do we do then? If we're not comfortable,
we'll have to look at other options.
Like what?
Maybe we have to find a different zone to put her in. Maybe we like.
But what if we don't like those public schools either?
But who's to say that we're going to love this private school?
Who's to say? But what I'm saying though is to completely negate.
I'm not negating. I'm not negating it per se, but I don't see the worth in paying money for middle school, elementary school, high school. I don't see it. Like, if you're telling me that by my child going to this private school, they're going to be able to go to all the Ivy Leagues, they have a pipeline that is guaranteed in all the Ivy Leagues, then okay, that makes sense. But if you're telling me that my child can go to a private school or a public school and in both instances is going to end up in the same place with the same options, why am I paying for it?
Okay. So here's how I feel about it. Having like a Catholic school or private school education, I feel like gave me a great foundation. But then I also feel like the type of public school I went to from middle school and high school gave me a whole bunch of opportunities and experiences. I learned Japanese. I took AP courses. I traveled across the country. I have classmates, friends who went out of the country with our school. We had regular trips to Greece.
Can I have a question with that?
Yeah.
So, did you not travel the country with your parents? Did they not take you out? Like, did you not, like, was the only way that you were going to do these things were by going to school? Was that your only opportunity to travel and do that stuff?
No, that was not my only opportunity to travel and do those things, but they were additional opportunities that were afforded to me.
Okay.
So, I feel like with Killer Mike and Envy's thing, like, I definitely side more with Killer Mike in the sense that, like, the average person doesn't have $20,000 a year to shell out per child per school year, and then you still have to pay for college. And you know, people will, and like I said, I have like mixed feelings on this. Like, people will shit on public schools and the education that the kids are getting. And yeah, there are some teachers who are out there who are just sitting there collecting a check and all that stuff like that. But most teachers, I feel like in who I've encountered, they are doing their best and busting their ass and with the best that they have to make sure that these kids are getting an education on a daily basis. Some days are better than others, but everybody's getting up and they trying every day. And private schools, like, the thing about it is people always ride private schools or like praise private schools because they have all these opportunities, resources. Yeah, because you're paying $8,000 a year, $20,000 a year, $30,000 a year to go there. So now all that money is going into these opportunities that are created because they have the resources to do so. And on top of that, it's a private school. So in a private school, you could say, I want Timmy and Tammy and Johnny and Jane, but I don't want Mark and Sarah and Paul and whoever else, because you can pick who the fuck you want. So if you look at somebody's school records and it's like, oh, this person's suspended all the time, like, nah, we're not taking that person. And or even if they come in and they start to cut up in a private school, it is nothing to kick somebody out at your discretion. That's not the case in public school. Public school is about where you live. So, but it doesn't mean that just because you're in public school that you can't be successful. It doesn't.
But just because you go to private school and you're afforded more opportity doesn't mean that you're going to be a better person. It doesn't mean to make you smarter. It doesn't mean that by you getting these opportunities, you're going to even appreciate these opportunities.
It doesn't. And I think that that's the thing. I feel like I'm torn between, like, looking at it as a teacher and looking at it as a parent. And
I'm looking at it as a parent who went through public school, and I'm also looking at it as a parent who financially, I may not be able to afford a $20,000 a year tuition for elementary school. Agreed. Just to say that my child goes to McDonough or
wherever, St.
Paul's Girls or whatever the private schools are, just to say, oh, my child goes there. Like, I would rather take that money and we can travel. Okay, the school went to Germany this year. I'm gonna take you to Germany this year because I can cut that down in half. Like, I feel like everything starts at home. Like, you know, and Envy was trying to make it like, you know, his kids were given more opportunities, but I also feel like because you are rich, you already have the opportunity.
Yeah, because some of the stuff he was talking about was kind of like the entrepreneurship or in the businesses and stuff like that. And like they kept saying, they were like, but they got that probably more from you or instilled in you than they did from school. Like, maybe school gave them the regular access to try things out, but the drive to do that, they watch you run multiple businesses and have these multiple streams of income. So I feel like, I'll say this, I feel like I don't appreciate anybody bashing public school teachers because I am a public school teacher, and there's people who could never, it wouldn't last a day in my shoes.
Even with that, the same way how he said like some public school teachers don't care, there's probably some private school teachers who don't care.
Absolutely.
So
there's shitty people at every job.
At the end of the day, I truly believe everything starts at home.
Learning does start at home.
Everything starts at home. Who your child is, who they become, starts at home. Period. That's my belief. And anyone can argue with me. We can have that debate, but it starts at home. It starts with who you are. It becomes at home. How you study, what you like, what you get into. It starts at home. If you see your parents are lazy, most likely you're going to be lazy. But then again, you may see your parents lazy and say, you know what, I'm not going to be them. Mm-hmm. So a school's not going to make you that. It's not going to make you a better person.
Make or break you. But it does cultivate you. I'm going to tell you that
it can.
Because
but it goes to the teachers.
Even the most well-rounded, child at home, like for most days, you spend more of your waking hours at school than you do anywhere else when you're growing up, because that's just the nature of the beast. And to say that schools don't, now all learning and influence and stuff like that does start at home, but the next step down is going to be your school environment.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I guess the question then becomes, though, for me, and I guess the thing is like this: I don't want to necessarily pay all this money either for school, right? But there's a part of me that is like, if not because I want to just say Tatum's going to private school, or we're paying all this money, because I don't want to pay any extra money at all. But there's just a small part of me that's like, if the private school is the better school.
But how do we know that? When it's time for her to go to high school, she'll have the choice. She can go to a Western. She can go to a Poly. She can go to a city.
Well, she can't go if she's in the county.
She can't apply to them?
No, they're for city kids.
So those high schools are only for city kids. I thought those were specialized high schools that you had to apply to get into. I know for a fact Western is like that. The all-girls school. Yeah.
I feel like confident that there was because they're in the district. I feel like some, and maybe I could be wrong. I don't teach high school, but
no, I get that. But from my understanding, with City and Poly, you couldn't just go to City or Poly. You couldn't just if that was your zone school, you don't just go to City or Poly.
Yeah, if that's your zone school. So if you because City and Poly and Western are all inside of Baltimore city limits. But if you live across the street from City, those schools are exempt from the kids saying, "Oh, this is the school that's closest to me. I can go here." Those schools have academic entrance criteria which you have to meet, but you still have to be a city school student with that academic entrance criteria.
So it's not a zone school. Typically, and again, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Zone schools make that no matter what, this is a school you were going to go to. Mm. So, like in New York, my zone school it wasn't Randolph. I think it was Watley. That was the zone school. Mm-hmm. That was the school that no matter what, you would get into.
Yeah, because it was closest to your house.
But it was like the zone school. Randolph is closer to my house than Watley is.
Then that wasn't your zone school. I think so. As best as I understand it, I feel like we could check with like my sister or somebody who like does this more often. But as best as I understand it, so like a specialized high school or like a high school that has academic entrance criteria, like a Poly or a City or a Western in Baltimore City, right? They have academic entrance criteria that you have to meet in order to be able to even apply there. However, as best as I understand it, you still have to be a city student. That meaning you have to live within Baltimore City and also have that academic entrance criteria in order to be able to attend. I don't for sure think that they're taking kids from like out from the county, or maybe not too many. Now, granted, there's probably some that get through because people work the system all the time. But like in general, mm-hmm. those are still Baltimore City high schools that are specifically for Baltimore City students. They're just the top of Baltimore City students. Okay. Which is why if Joe Schmo, who lives across the street from City, who has a 1.4 GPA when he graduates gets out of middle school, is not going to say, "Oh, well, I live across the street from Poly." Excuse me, guys.
So it says that placement at Poly is a competitive and selective. In order to qualify for admission, students must meet entrance requirement that is determined by the Office of Enrollment Choice and Transfers.
Yes, that's their academic. You have a composite score.
Okay.
So your composite score, like I did this with my kids this year, my 8th graders. Your composite score is a combination of like your attendance and your academics from all of 7th grade and the first part of 8th grade. Your PARC scores, which is the state standardized test they take. And basically you throw it into this spreadsheet or whatever, and it spits out, and then different schools weight things differently. So Poly is a school that's really heavy on science and math. So they weigh your... Okay.
However, both Baltimore City residents and non-city residents must have a calculated composite score determined. So
some county kids do go there, but they're primarily city kids.
Okay, so my point is...
Okay, I wasn't sure. I didn't say that.
Yeah, but I was just going by from what I was told. These were special schools that you had to apply to, and if you got selected, you can go to it.
Okay.
They may not pick you up because you may be out of there, but I just...
Bringing it back to the argument, but like...
The argument is that if we're going to get money for it, then sure. I'm okay with it.
So she has to get scholarships or like aid or something.
Yeah, I can't justify spending $20,000 a year to go to school just to say.
What if it's a school? Not that's $25,000 a year, but what if it's a school that has, let's say Tatum just discovers her passion early in life, like she wants to do this, and this particular special school starts in 7th grade, goes from 7th to 12th grade, has this specialized program that she's into, but it costs
the only program.
And it costs $8,000 a year.
This is the only program.
Yep.
That's different.
Okay.
That's different.
Okay. And I think but I just feel like it's important we have this conversation. And I feel like, and I know our listeners, hopefully, like, you guys are on board with this, and it's because I think it goes back to what TJ said about it having to be these, like, important conversations that you need to have.
No,
because
you have
education is the foundation of everything. And if you don't...
I just don't agree. Like, if you're sending your child to this special school because the school has this special opportunity for them and something that they want to do, then cool. But if you're sending them to that school because you think it's going to give them a leg up, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I don't think that because you go to a private school, it makes you a better person or a smarter person.
That I totally agree with.
It just means that you can pay for this school.
Yeah, and I'll say I agree with that because as someone who went to private school basically with people who were as smart as me and who were not as smart as me or maybe even smarter. And then I went to high school with people who were absolutely smarter than me, who were not as smart as me, and people who were on the same level as me. So. And it's about the work that you put in. And I think though that education... And like you can't shit on public schools because public schools have to deal with way more shit than a lot of private schools do. But
there's a lot of people who went to public school, and there's famous people and smart people who went to public school, and
I don't doubt
they turned out good.
I don't doubt that. What I'm saying though is that as far as the public school system as a whole, there are a lot of uphill battles that we face that schools that are privatized don't have to face because they're not beholden to the government the way that a public school is. And like if my little school in West Baltimore if every kid I taught's parent paid $20,000 a year to the school, my nigga, like, we would be doing everything. We would be out of this world. We would have all the one-to-one technology. And I mean, it also varies from district to district because in Baltimore City, like, we have technology as far as, like, we have a laptop cart on the 3rd floor, which us teachers are able to use for our classes, but we have to split it up. So sometimes it's like, oh, are you using the cart right now? No, I'm not using the cart. Can I use it tomorrow? Da-da-da. Whereas in a county, which is still a public school education, a public education district, there's one-to-one technology. Our nephew, who's in high school, brings his laptop home every day from school to do his homework. And that's the difference. Because so it's levels to this shit. Because it's not even, because there are public high schools in this country that are probably just as quote unquote bomb as a private school.
But like Killer Mike said, it comes back to the parents and it comes back to the taxpayers to fight for these things.
Yeah. But people,
instead of just saying it's the status quo. We have a lot of people who live life that my voice doesn't matter, so I'm not going to say anything. I don't care. And, you pay for this stuff. Like, you can go to every meeting and you can be an advocate and you can get a group of people to be advocates, or the same working class, they can work with the school. What do y'all need? Okay, y'all need. You said that your school only has one whatever. What is it called?
Laptop cart per floor.
Yeah, one laptop cart. Okay, how much does each laptop cart cost? Okay, how can we raise money so that way everybody has a laptop cart? Like, parents have to buy into their school. They have to buy into the place that their children is going into.
They do, but they do, but they don't, because a lot of them have had, like, one thing I've learned is, like, some people have had, like, such traumatic educational experiences of their own growing up that they don't want to set foot inside of a school building. And then there's some parents who think that, like, from 7:45 to 2:25, he or she is your problem, not mine.
And that's the bigger issue. Mm-hmm. So you were traumatized. So you should say, I don't want my child to go through the same experience that I went through. So how can I be a difference?
Yeah. Some people don't think like that. They're stuck in the trauma. It goes
bigger into that. That's just my thing. My thing is that as people, we have to start caring about our community. Mm-hmm. If this school is in our community, then as parents, we should say we want the best for our children. Mm-hmm. Okay, and let's figure out how we can get what's best for our children, so that way our school can give more opportunities.
Yeah, and I think too, it's just I feel like you're just hard. It just depends on where you are.
Listen, I don't know. I haven't been there yet, but I do know that if I had to help raise money for Tatum's school for her to get certain things, I would do it. I would go out of my way so that way my daughter can achieve some things. But I already know that I travel. My mother didn't travel with us like internationally crazy. But that's my plan for Tatum and my children, and whatever children we have. Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll take trips. We'll take trips to these places so that way you've been there. Because that's the biggest thing, I feel like private school, you get the exposure to wealth or the exposure to
it's experiences things. And connections.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so if I'm giving you those same experiences.
Yeah, I mean, you are, and that makes sense. It's just that's just not the case for everybody else.
It's not.
And for the record, a laptop cart, I think, is somewhere between like $20,000 and $30,000.
Really? One
laptop cart with 30 laptops in it. It's like around, if I'm going to be conservative, I think let's say between 15 and 20 grand. Yes. And we have one for each floor now, which is more than what we had, because before we had like one for the whole school building plus a computer lab. Yeah. But all the desktops in the computer lab don't work. So it was like a fight, with like getting things done and everything like that. But,
I just think that there's ways to do it, and there's ways that we can work on things. You can write grants. You can ask people to donate. I just think that ultimately as people, we have to be more invested in our children and what they're learning and what they're gaining and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, people.
And I don't think that private school is going to be the only way that your child is going to be able to be better.
Yeah, and people do that all the time in public schools, but it's also like I still have to teach. I still have to be an administrator, but on top of that, I have to write for grants and things like that to get additional funding. I have to do donors choose projects in order to get materials from my class from strangers who are donating. Like, Donors Choose is like a super dope idea for teachers as far as like whoever created it. But at the same time, I think it's a sad testament to like how people don't value education in America, where basically you have teachers all over the country begging on the internet for money for stuff for their classrooms, when that should never be the case. It should never be the case that you're asking for supplies, or you're asking for different like classroom furniture, or you're asking to fund a field trip for these experiences, because the money is not there, but that's the reality of it. So it's great in one sense, but it's also fucked up in another sense. And I feel like when it comes down to our child and any other children we have, like, I think a public school education, as long as we can tell it could be quality to whatever extent that's feasible, and it's a safe environment, then that's where she could go, and then we can supplement her well-roundedness with experiences too. But I also
You're open.
I'm open.
Like I said, if it's like a special project or special whatever that and only just one school has it, I'll be more inclined to look into it. But again, I just don't agree with it. Well, I mean, it kind of goes back to like college. Mm-hmm. You know, I'd say Tatum's gonna go in state. You think that they shouldn't?
I think that she should go where she wants to go.
And I don't agree with that.
We got to go where we wanted to go.
Yeah, we did, but we also came from New York, so it's a lot different. Like,
how so?
Because if New York had a Towson, a John Hopkins, a Morgan State, a Coppin State, University of Maryland Eastern Shore, College Park, like if it had those type of universities surrounding it, I don't think that we would have necessarily been like, we're not staying in New York.
I wouldn't have had a choice.
Okay.
But
I would have had a choice. I can't speak for it.
Yeah. I mean, I do get your logic, and I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that I feel like I feel like I subscribe to my parents' assertion, which is like, and that's why like your comparison is fair, but it's not totally accurate, because my parents were basically like, when it came time for college, they were like, you cannot go to school in the 5 boroughs. You need an experience. They didn't want you to go to school. You need to go upstate or out of state.
All right, but they didn't want you to go to school
like
there.
Maryland is different in the sense
because most of those schools don't have room and board. If you go to schools in the 5 boroughs, for the most part, they do not have
dorms.
They don't have dormitories, so that means you would have been staying in Queens. So that's what your parents did not want.
No, they wanted, but the primary thing is that they wanted me to have an experience outside of New York City. I knew what it was like to be born and raised in New York City. And they were like, life is more than just New York City. You need to get experiences outside of that. If you decide to come back to New York upon finishing college, that's fine. But you needed to spend time away in order to see what another part of the country or another part of New York is like. And that's why you could not stay in the 5 boroughs, because you've lived your whole life in New York. So now is the time for you to go elsewhere and to get some experiences. And if you don't like it, that's fine, but at least you said you did it and you tried. Now, Maryland is a little different, because even though you made that comparison, I can respect that Maryland is like a big little state, because yes, in Baltimore you do have Hopkins and Towson and Goucher and Morgan and Coppin and just to name a few. But then the other schools that you named, like College Park, that's 40 minutes away, 45 minutes away. Bowie, it's like 45 minutes away. Frostburg is even
fuck no.
Is in the fucking boonies, and it's still Maryland. But so you can be like, Tatum could arguably go to Frostburg and be just as far away as it would be to go to New York, and so it's still a vastly different experience than living in the county where she will be born, where she's been born and will be raised. Now, the point
so if she was to say, all right, I'm gonna go to Stevenson University and I'm gonna stay on campus with Stevenson, it doesn't mean that she's gonna meet the same people at Stevenson. It doesn't mean she's gonna meet the same people who live wherever she lives.
She's not, but she's still going to be in the area. She's going to be comfortable. She's going to be familiar. Like, I just feel like it's important. Now, if she says, I really want to go to Stevenson, it's my first choice, then that's one thing. But to say that, to limit her choices...
I'm not necessarily limiting her choices, but I am going just based off of my own, and you could say I'm jaded, I guess. Like...
So what would have happened? No, think about what would happen if your parents told you could not go out of state.
My parents wouldn't have necessarily told me that, but
you're hoping that she doesn't go out of state.
No, what I'm saying is that I would want to have a true conversation with her to say, no matter where you go, depending on what you're doing, it may not make sense to necessarily go out of state. If you're going to go get a communications degree, you don't have to go to Syracuse, or you don't have to go to this school. That's not going to give you, like, just to say that I went to this school. It's the same thing with the private school situation. I'm not necessarily saying that she can't choose anything, but I'm just saying that if you're going to get something that you can get at any school, why not choose a school that's going to be the least expensive?
Because college isn't just about the cost and the education. It's about the experience. Because did you go into your freshman year of college knowing exactly what your major was going to be at the time?
Yes.
Okay. And
I changed it.
And you changed it. Okay. So had you...
But I also was cheating the system.
Okay.
From jump. So...
Okay, but...
So that's also a difference.
Okay.
I've only paid out of state for 1 year. Mm-hmm. And then the other years, I paid in-state. Mm-hmm. So, again, if she want to go to New York, sure. We'll put you under my mother's address. Now you're a New York resident. Like, my thing is that...
I'm not opposed to that. All I'm saying is that I'm not going to be the one to limit her.
And I'm not necessarily going to limit her and say you can't do this, but I want her to be able to start thinking about it and really think about it. You can go to this school and we can pay $250,000 for 4 years of college for you to say you have the best experience in your life, and then you come back home and you're working at Best Buy. Mm-hmm. Was the $250,000 worth it? We could have just gave it a $250,000 and been like, explore. Mm-hmm. So that's my thing. Like, we have to make decisions that's going to be the most sound and it makes the most sense, as opposed to follow your dreams and do whatever you want. You know, if you get into USC and that's the school that you really want to go to, let's find some ways that we can make it work.
Yeah, I agree.
But let's not just, like, if you wanted to go to USC and they have the best dentist program, yes, that makes sense because you're going to be a dentist and this is the best program. But if you're going there to do something that you can do home, I can't see value in that.
Well, I'm going to say this. You can present that logic to someone, but I think you find it's going to be hard pressed to convince. I mean, and I know ultimately it's going to come down to you, and I will say, you could say, but I've just never, and I'm not saying this even what you're saying, I've just never been a fan of parents who are like, you can only go here, or I'm not paying for this, I'm not paying for that. Now, that's what, I'm definitely on board with you when it comes to like scholarships, athletic, academic, or whatever, to help supplement that cost, whatever, but I don't know. I feel
sometimes we have to be realistic when we say those things, and those parents who said it, they didn't say, I don't know what those parents said. My parents never told me I couldn't go to any school, mm-hmm. and I'm not going to say to him you can't go to any school, but I would want to have a conversation to say, hey, you can go to these schools, or you can go to this school right here, and then this is all the money that you'll have, and you can do all this stuff with it, and these are your opportunities here, as opposed to going here, or let's really map this out.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's what the point, like, when you apply to college in general, you got your reach schools, you got your like mid-level schools that you should get into, or that are like, based on your grades and stuff, and then you got the ones that are like shoo-ins, and then you do that, and you make an informed decision about it. But my dad always used to tell me, I left college with no student loans. I have loans now because of grad school.
Yeah, and so did I.
And so the only thing that I would like to commit to my daughter and to any other children that might come along is, if you find a school that you feel like is the best fit for you, that has the program that you're interested in and want to do and want to pursue, and it's not wildly out of our price range, or you have some type of financial aid, or you have some type of support, whatever, then I'm gonna make it. You and I are gonna make it happen to make sure that she can attend.
100%. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they couldn't. But I would like to present the options that, hey, listen, your parents are paying for this. You have a 529 plan that's gonna help subsidize some of this. Mm-hmm. So you can technically, you really can go anywhere that you want, but understand what happens. Understand this debt. So yeah, our parents paid for us. My mother's still paying off my house and loans. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we can do this. We can send you to this school and we can go $250,000 in debt. But now when you're asking for money because you're working at Best Buy or whatever, we can't help you because we have to pay this. Like, we have to have these real life conversations. And everybody wants to act like you can't talk about these things, or my child's going to be able to do whatever they want and all the other stuff. But sometimes we can't afford it, and sometimes it just doesn't make sense. And that's the tough thing that we have to do. Again, I'm a little scorned. I'm scorned with school because I feel like I went to school, I did all this other stuff, and I'm competing against people who don't match me. So for me, I could have not went to school like them. So I'm scorned. But I also, because of that experience, I would have the real life conversation, and I would want my children to think about it and really be able to map out what they're going to do.
Well, I can appreciate the fact that you like of where you're coming from, and I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I think you're a little bit of the pragmatist in this situation, and I'm a little bit more of the dreamer in this situation. And I think as long as we kind of balance each other out, then then Tatum will find a space where she feels
this world
comfortable.
is ugly.
This world is ugly.
It's an ugly world, and when you realize that it's an ugly world, it can make you depressed. It can make you scared. It can make you wonder, like, what's next? Like, what else can I do? And I would hate for my child to feel that way. I would hate for my child to feel loss or feel the way that I felt.
Yeah, but you got to be careful though, because you don't want your pessimism or your scorn to then.
But I would never say don't do this.
I know, but
the biggest thing I'm saying is that
kids aren't dumb. Like
the biggest thing I'm saying is that you have to have the conversation. As a parent, all you can do is teach your kids what you know, and then they're going to make their own decisions. But as long as you know that you gave them the tools that you had, whatever they do, that's what they decide to do.
I have a hypothetical question for you.
Go ahead.
So let's say you have these conversations, and let's say, we know Tatum is no dummy and will not be anybody's dummy growing up, right?
Sure.
And let's say you have this real ass conversation with her just as to try and be pragmatic. But in her being the smart teenage girl that she's going to be able to read between the lines and know that, like, some of this comes from, she remembers the stories daddy told and this, that, and the other. And she knows that some of this comes from your own experience, and she knows that some of it comes from, like,
land the plane.
Stop. How you feel like she basically is able to pick up, like, I know he's saying, like, I need to be realistic, but, like, if this is where I want to go, we'll make it work. And she picks some place that's more safe, or she picks a place that she thinks that you would be more pleased with to make you happy. Like, what do you do then? Like, what if she does it to make you like? What if she picks a school to make you happy?
I would make sure to let her know, don't do something to make me happy. You got to be happy with your decision.
Okay.
So I would never tell her, do something for me.
No, you wouldn't have to tell her to do something for you. But what if she sensed it and she could read between the lines and she does it anyway?
I don't think that. I don't know.
People, we're all somebody's children. We've all done things that we thought would make our parents happy, as opposed to what made us happy. And then sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's not. I'm just asking.
I just don't ever remember, like, my father didn't want me to get my master's, and I did it. Mm-hmm. I could have not done that. Mm-hmm. So,
okay.
I just think that ultimately you are going to have to. I think for me, ultimately, you have to give your children the tools and then see what they're going to do with it. But if school continues rising the way that it's rising, we
might have limited options anyway.
You can, again, it goes back to the private school. You can go to the top school just to say that you went to the top school, but if you're not going there with the idea that I'm going to get this top, like, I'm going to this top school because it's top in this program and I'm going to get this degree, then you can go to any other school. It's just the way I'm thinking.
All right. College should be free for everyone. That's what it boils down to. School should be free. Public, just like colleges should be free, just like public schools are free.
There's too much money to be made out here.
I know.
So.
Niggas is greedy. But I feel like it's good that we had this conversation.
We're gonna have to have it more, but yeah.
Yeah, but this is a start, and I mean, we have a little bit of time with Tatum because, she's not even 2.
Okay,
But
we have a lot of time. I don't know what a little bit of time is.
I was like being a little sarcastic. But with that being said, anything else that we need to add?
Not that I know of.
Senor? Well, in that case, I think we're going to wrap this sucker up. This has been another episode of Lovers Quarrel. And you know that we appreciate all follows, likes, shares, and tags. So please make sure that you do that and subscribe to us on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify, Podbean, anywhere that you can stream a podcast. That's where we are. If you want to follow us, you can hit us up on Instagram at Lovers Quarrel Show, on Twitter at Lovers Quarrel 7. And of course, if you have a question, concern, headache, or heartache, you can email us at loversquarrelshow@gmail.com. Now, with that all being said, I am your girl, Dani.
You're being really weird right now. And I'm your guy, TJ.
I wasn't being weird. I was just being dramatic.
Yeah, it's very weird.
You are such a hater.
And I'm your guy, TJ, again.
And this has been a important episode of Lovers Quarrel.
What, foreshadowing? This is an omen?
I'm just trying to, incorporate it into my daily conversation.
Okay.
That's a great segment. I can't wait till next week's word.
Okay. And as always,
we fuss,
we fight,
but we love. Bye.
Later, y'all.
I win.
Definitely took it out.
Important.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.